So, I've been thinking earlier today. I am not a fan of ATVOD as the way they're going at the moment. I think they are ultimately just trying to make a business out of what they're doing. They're constantly going after porn sites with no end, going after individual models. These are very small companies. I think the regulations they put on them just make it impossible to run their business, and I don't quite see how they regulate, to be honest. But, like I said, I've been thinking, and I want to pose the question to a lot of people, mostly the adult industry. Is there a point where really we do need ATVOD? I mean, like I said, I don't know what they do, but the whole point is they're supposed to regulate content that is on demand and television on demand. And they constantly use the phrase TV-like, which is of course very broad and ridiculous and just an excuse to get anything they want. Whether they even have porn, I mean, really, as I go on, you'll understand when I say it's kind of a good argument whether they have porn. But frankly, you look at the legislation, the criteria rather, and the first one says the principle that you're an on-demand service if you're an on-demand service if the principal purpose of the service is the provision of programs, and the form and content of such programs are comparable to those normally included in a television program service. Now that's quite relevant there, because hardcore pornography is not allowed on British television. We can have it on the internet, but it's not on television, so I think it's really hard to say that it's the same as television. Under that logic, if you really want... I mean, ATVOD are trying to regulate foreign websites as well, but if you make it like on television, then, well, I'm sorry, but you'd have to get rid of all the hardcore pornography on the internet, and that ain't gonna happen. But we can't deny television is changing. It's changing in a huge way. I mean, the real problem isn't the fact of is porn television like, it's just that television is coming to the internet, and the lines between television, internet, and video services are completely broad now. I mean, you look at Netflix and Amazon Prime, they do have television on their services, but more importantly, they're starting to make their own television. If it was just showing it would be one thing, but they are making television. So, I don't know anymore. That's why I'm asking the question. Where else am I going? I certainly can't stand ATVOD's concept of a license fee. Right, I have a license maybe, but the fee is just ridiculous. The idea... I mean, many of these aren't big businesses. I know there's meant to be a concession fee, but smaller ones, but it doesn't make a difference, really. It depends on what your business model is, and like I said, they put all those restrictions that they just cannot follow. It's absolutely ridiculous. No matter what form of age verification, it's just going to stifle them. Especially unfair to Denmark, where the age at which you can legally watch porn is 15. So, making something to prove you're 18 is just unfair to them. And I especially think it is ridiculous that, like I said, they constantly go after individual cam girls. That's going to be very relevant if ATVOD keep going, because they have confirmed it's not things like Pornhub. It's not the provider of the service that's important when it comes to overseas. It's the actual person in that situation. When it comes to user upload generated content, it's not the provider of the service, it's the person providing it. It's such a cop out. But other problems come in the form of piracy. Now, I'm going to say this right now, no matter how many people regulate with ATVOD, even if they do get overseas services, which is unlikely, you're not going to stop the piracy in any way. In fact, this regulation is just going to increase it. And both Chris Radcliffe and Anna Aerosmith, can I remember her name? They both talk about piracy and how harmless, and Oh, everything's getting stolen. Yeah, that's a problem, I admit that, but that's not the real reason. Well, it's not the main reason you're angry, isn't it? The real problem is the fact that it's free. Free content will always beat paid content. Which is where I'd equally like to get onto the Wood Rocket. The Wood Rocket, and can I say, if you can actually watch any video on there, you're doing much better than me, because I've gone on there several times, and I'm only, well, let me put it this way, took 10 minutes of buffering to watch 2 seconds of a video. I mean, it just cuts out. I don't know what the problem is, whether it's my service provider or their side. The point is, it calls itself the future of porn. And it is the future of porn. Why? Its content is free, and it relies on advertising. That's going to be the same. We can't get that with ATVOD. I mean, British industry is still going to be stifled due to that. British industry cannot function under ATVOD's rules under that situation. But I do think the Wood Rocket is an example of future porn, and where porn is going. It's going to have to be free. It's not saying you can't have some paid services. Crunchyroll, for instance, they simulcast anime from Japan 1 hour after it broadcasts in Japan. But they also have service where they also have a premium service where for certain videos you make a subscription, and like I say, you can watch it 1 hour after it airs in Japan. But if you're not a premium subscriber, you have to wait a week. And I think porn can easily do the same thing. I think all the major sites like Kink.com, Brazzers, Mofo, Vivid, they're all going to have to do this. I think they're going to have to change. It's not really... The reality is, everyone just wants to live in the past. This is what the ultimate problem is. Whether you're for ATVOD or against piracy, you just want to live completely in the past, and you've got to move forward. And ATVOD, admittedly, ATVOD's keeping people in the past as well. That's no different. But nonetheless, that's how porn will have to change. But enough of porn. Like I said, this argument was, do we need ATVOD? At some point will we need ATVOD? Should ATVOD actually exist to regulate certain websites? Certain websites. Is the internet really I think it's fair to say the internet really is getting to a point where it's becoming television. And we cannot ignore this anymore. And slowly down the line, we're going to be stifled and confused as to what's television and what's just a video service. Would you believe porn is television? To be honest, I don't think porn is television. It's certainly really blurred in America, because it's worth noting that one of Netflix does have a competitor. I don't remember its name, but I do know it has porn on it. So they do kind of have the same, but they're not. I don't think America's television and movie services are quite as regulated as us. And more to the point, ATVOD, they're trying to regulate foreign services, but it's unreasonable to think you can actually regulate a foreign website to abide by our content laws. And we have things like the Obscene Publications Act, and I don't think they'll all go there. But like I said, I've been throwing a lot of negatives. I've tried to throw some positive at them, because I am trying to throw positives at them. I'm trying to say, will there be a point where they are necessary to run certain elements of the internet? But I would like to hear discussions on this. I mostly want to hear discussions from people who don't approve of ATVOD. Who are pretty much against ATVOD. Jerry Barnett, Ben Yates, Nikki Hodgson. I don't know if I stressed this yet, but I'm not actually part of the industry. I've just been learning these people since Cameron announced his stupid filters last year. So I got to Nikki Hodgson, Miles Jackman. Don't know if I said Naff off ATVOD. Benedict Garnett. The Naked Truth guy. I think I've said all the main ones I want to hear. I don't really want to hear from Chris Radcliffe because, like I said, he's actually supporting ATVOD. I want to hear support from people who do not support ATVOD. I want to ask people who don't support ATVOD, under these things I've been saying, do you think maybe there will actually be a necessity for ATVOD if their position is if their own position is carefully regulated and specified, or do you think maybe it should include pornography? Do you think the lines between television and internet and porn, are they becoming blurred? Well, like I said, please say anything in the comment section, assuming you're all watching this video. I really love you. I'm going to do my best to get you guys to see this video. And I just want this video and the comment section of this video be a real discussion of what could ATVOD be a good force? Well, maybe not a good force, but could ATVOD have some relevance in the future? And should that regulation be limited? And more to the point, is it really ATVOD or our actual laws? Are some of our laws? I mean, we have ridiculous content laws. I agree, and ATVOD claim they're just following those laws, or do you think maybe they're even ATVOD are making up some of the laws as they go along? They're interpreting the laws the way they wish to interpret it. Is it the laws the problem? Is it ATVOD's problem? Or could ATVOD be doing everything right? And well, like I say, I'd love to hear from all you guys. I'd love you guys to comment. So yeah, that's it. Please comment if you can.